Yesterday, the A's flexed their muscles behind Billy Butler's first long ball of the season, and Chris Davis' team-leading 14th home run that led to a season high in runs and hits. Today, Rich Hill takes the mound against the Tigers. The rock of the rotation has been nothing but sensational. The AL leader in ERA looks to win his 5th straight game. The Tigers' offense is one of the best in the American League, and Hill will have a tough challenge as he tries to get the A's a series win. It's the rubber game of the series. A's-Tigers next. It is another warm day, and that means maybe, just maybe, the ball will be jumping. But Rich Hill, he's been terrific. He hopes that's not the case. He's looking for his 8th win of the year, and it is the rubber game of this 3-game series. It's the Oakland A's and the Detroit Tigers coming up on CSN California. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Rich Hill has been terrific. 4 straight wins. Ray's got the best ERA in the American League, and it's going to be fun seeing him go up against this Tigers lineup today.
You know, he might have the best curveball in all of baseball. He throws it a lot, but because of the curveball, his fastball is really electric, surprising a lot of hitters. But I think the important thing up in Seattle, he had faced the Mariners before early in the season. He backed it up with an even better performance against Seattle in his last start. That was 8 innings. He could have gone 9. They needed some bullpen just to get some work because he's been so good. Curveball, though, from Stephen Vogt's standpoint, call it any time, and if he ever gets to 3-2 count, you can pretty much be assured it will be a curveball. Yeah, it
was good to see the A's offense come to life yesterday. A season-high runs and hits, and they hit 3 home runs, and the ball may be jumping with warm weather, but the home runs that were hit yesterday by the A's, they were going to leave no matter what the weather is.
Starting with the big one, and that is Billy Butler. He crushed it, and it was great to see a smile on his face as he rounded third base, looking into the dugout because he said, I got some power. I know I can do it. And how about Danny Valencia? This pitch out of the strike zone, it hit the sweets and straightaway center field. Very, very powerful as he's showing how he did it. But the biggest one, this guy, he's as strong as anybody, and that is Chris Davis, a 3-run home run. Every time he makes contact, something good happens, and it's usually going to be a home run.
All right, so Rich Hill looking for his 8th win of the year. Yep. Mike Pelfrey, he's looking for his 1st win of the year. So the Tigers need something good to happen with Pelfrey. We'll have lineups and first pitch here at the Coliseum on a beautiful day for baseball, so stick around. You know, it's Sunday, and that means the Little Leaguers are out. But I'm a little concerned here about number 14 because he is actually he's the largest Little Leaguer in the history of Little League.
Check his birth certificate.
He's bigger than he's 6'4", 235 pounds. Oh, man. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. 69 degrees, but it feels warmer.
Yes,
and I think as the day goes on, it's going to get warmer. So it's a beautiful day. Lots of sunshine. And you saw that gentleman?
That's right. Putting it on, sunscreen.
Putting that sunscreen
to do
on.
It. It's nice to have the great seats, but also you have to be prepared.
Let's look at the lineup this afternoon for the Detroit Tigers. Kinsler, Martinez, Cabrera, Martinez, Castellanos, Upton, Maben, McCann, and Iglesias. So pretty much the same lineup except for a change at catcher.
Well, very much and well documented about Rich Hill and how well he has done. And as we mentioned in Oakland, he pitched well against Seattle both times, and that's critical because sometimes a team will look at a pitcher and what he did previously, and Rich Hill beat the Tigers back at Comerica Park, but 7-3 on the season, 6 of those wins on the road. He beat the Rangers here, his only win at the Coliseum, but he has been spectacular with a 2.18 American League best earned run average.
Defensively for the Athletics, it'll be Crisp, Burns, and Coughlin in the outfield. Valencia, Simeon, Lowry, and Alonso on the infield, and Stephen Vogt is your catcher. So we are set for baseball. It is the rubber game of the series. And a big offensive explosion yesterday by the Athletics. We'll see what happens today. Hill against Pelfrey. The A's will stay home after the game, get ready for the Twins, and the Tigers will fly down south, and they will take on Anaheim, the Angels, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So Kinsler's in. Rich Hill kicks and delivers the first pitch of the game, and it's a fastball right on the outside corner for a strike. So we're underway. Umpires. It's Ramon DeJesus calling balls and strikes. Kerwin Danley at first, Joe West at second, Andy Fletcher is at third. Ramon DeJesus is a new name, Ray, and I don't recall us doing a game with him as one of the umpires.
Yeah, I think it's the first, and we have to realize, and they have usually down in the clubhouse, a list of the umpires, and I don't know this for sure, that fill in during vacation times. And there's some that work a whole season in major leagues because umpires do get a nice amount of time off.
Kinsler skies one high and foul down the right field line.
But they still rotate regardless of whether they're filling in or not. And again, do not know whether Mr. DeJesus is in that category, but right now he's behind the plate, the most important umpire today on the field.
Another 0-2 to Kinsler, and there's the curveball, swing and a miss. Man, that is a dandy breaking ball, and we've seen it from day one.
Yeah. And you know, 3 fastballs, and then here comes Uncle Charlie and just try to wait and wait and wait. It's almost like slow pitch softball. You see that foot put down by Kinsler, the front foot, and then trying to wait and time his swing on the slow curveball. The slowness of the pitch is just as effective as the break. So Kinsler, who's been very hot in this series, good to see him head back to the dugout.
The first pitch curveball looked like a good one, but he missed it. So check this out. The curveball usage has gone up in the last 4 starts, and he has won all 4 of those starts. So he's 4-0 with a 1.75 ERA over his last 4 starts, and I'm sure not sure and know it. The curveball is a big part of that, but as you see, using it a little bit more.
You know, the one thing Stephen Vogt has consistently done, which first of all has caught every start that Rich Hill has made this year, but he's also, in the case of DeJesus that we're seeing for the first time, make sure that he tells the home plate umpire, don't give up on the curveball. Well,
and you know, it's funny that you say that because the first pitch to JD Martinez was a good curveball, and it looked like a strike, and you know, it's not an easy pitch to call for an umpire.
And I know Eddie Montague is here, and he said the important thing, and he umpired for many, many years, is to be patient, especially with the breaking pitch. You have to let it develop and break.
So 2-2 the count to J.D. Martinez with Miguel Cabrera in the on-deck circle.
These Seagulls think it was an 11 o'clock game and it's supposed to be over.
They're here way too early.
I mean, this is just the beginning of the game, guys. Take a hike.
Count stays 2-2 to J.D. Martinez.
From the hitter standpoint, really it's rather simple. Fastball or curveball, maybe an occasional slider. A left-handed hitter, which there aren't any. They will basically get a drop down breaking pitch, but Rich Hill does change a lot of things.
There it is again, and Martinez swings over top. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the game for Rich Hill.
Batting in the third position.
Well, this is what he's trying to do all the time, like he did to Kinsler, keep the ball down. And it's a very difficult pitch for a hitter to hit. The hanger, the one that actually Martinez took for the first pitch, is one that you really don't want to see him throw, because it is one that stays up in the zone a little bit. Stephen Vogt taking the follow-through bat on the back side of the shoulder. You see the frustration already on the face of J.D. Martinez after seeing those curveballs.
First pitch to Cabrera is a strike. So Rich Hill leading the American League in ERA. Quintana is second, Sale third, Salazar fourth, Zimmerman fifth. And it's a pretty tightly knit group as far as statistics. 2.18 for Hill, Quintana 2.22. Hill is also ninth in the league in strikeouts with 65 coming into today, 67 now. David Price leads with 76, so Hill's really not that far behind the leader. It's kind of a bunched up group strikeout wise as well. What we're trying to say is he's having a terrific start to his 2016 season.
As Cabrera was getting ready to hit, I thought it was interesting that Rich Hill kind of stood on the mound. It looked like he took his left hand and went just like fastball. And what did he throw? Fastball. So maybe he's just kind of in advance saying to Stephen Vogt, this is what I want to do.
Another fastball, and it's hit high and foul down the right field line by Miguel Cabrera. Cold hard facts for today brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. A little bit more on the season for Rich Hill. Strikeouts per 9 innings, he's fourth. Opponent's batting average just 204. And the ERA number 1, 2.18 to go along with a 7-3 record. He's also allowed just 2 home runs this year. All good for Rich Hill.
And then an Altuve. Altuve led off the game when the Astros are in town with a 1-1 curveball for a home run.
Heads up down there. Omar Vizquel used to make that play. Now he said, I'm just getting out of the way.
Well, Rich Hill taking a little bit extra time, and nothing against any other hitter or hitters in this lineup, but he knows this is the guy that he's got to try to fool a little bit if possible.
Fastball struck him out. Rich Hill strikes out the side, all 3 swinging in the top of the first inning. Bottom of the first coming up, no score. Top of the first. Let's check out the bottom of the first. The A's lineup. It'll be Coco Crisp, Jed Lowry, Stephen Vogt, Danny Valencia, Chris Davis, Yonder Alonso, Marcus Semien, Chris Coghlan, and Ray. How about Billy Burns hitting ninth today?
Yeah, speed. Speed at the bottom, speed at the top. And they'll try to do it against Mike Pelfrey, making his 10th start of the season, still looking for his first win. A rematch on April the 26th between Pelfrey and the Athletics' Rich Hill. The only game the A's won in that series, with Rich Hill pitching great, 7 innings. And Pelfrey gave up 9 hits in 6 2/3 innings. Pitched well enough, but the A's just a little bit better, and Rich Hill was spectacular.
First pitch to Crisp is in for a strike. 255 for Crisp, and he's got 4 home runs, and he's got 20 RBIs. 17 hits yesterday for the Athletics. They had 4 doubles, a triple, and 3 home runs. And as we said in the pregame show, a lot of loud contact by the A's yesterday, which was nice to see.
Straight up defense for Coco Crisp, and he's been very good from both sides of the plate, playing consistently for the Athletics, which is good to see. Pelfrey, a good slider, a pitch that I think the Tigers would like to see him use a little bit more. The A's were back in Detroit. Brad Ausmus, a former major league catcher, now the manager, actually was catching Pelfrey in the bullpen, trying to help him. And not bad when the manager is behind the plate catching you. And of course, if you can notice anything to help.
I think he's also saying, hey, Mike, we need you to be good.
That's right. That's right.
It's been a little bit of a struggle for Pelfrey, a free agent signing by the Tigers in the offseason. 2 years, $16 million, and he does not have a win just yet. 3rd year at the helm for Brad Ausmus in Detroit. Two pitch. This one's going to be playable left side of the infield. Looking up into that sunshine is Iglesias. He's got it. Defensively for the Tigers, Brad Ausmus he's got a regular lineup, a regular group, and they run them out there quite a bit. Upton, Maben, and Martinez in the outfield. Estelanos, Iglesias, Kinsler, Cabrera in the infield. James McCann is your catcher. So McCann and Saltalamacchia kind of flip-flop behind the plate, but outside of that, that is the group that you're going to see almost every night if everybody's healthy.
And that's why yesterday, when the A's took the commanding lead, Brad Ausmus took a few of the guys out of the lineup the last couple of innings, because they are going to be in there every day. It makes it really, I mean, job of managing is not easy. Jesse Hahn pitched well enough yesterday, even his record 2-2. Left with it tied 3-3, but the A's added on big time. But you know, from Brad Ausmus' standpoint, to know that he's got 8 guys that he can run out every day.
Every day. And
the only day game after a night game, as a former catcher himself, realizing that that is the time to give the everyday catcher a day off. Other than that, he's got the same guys in the lineup.
1-2 now to Jed Lowry, hitting in the 2 spot today. 307 average for Lowry with no home runs and 18 RBIs. Got 5 doubles, a triple. High fastball. There's the hit chart. I would say he spreads it around pretty well. Remember, he is a switch hitter, so that comes into play a little bit. But Jed Lowry generally gives you a pretty good at-bat.
And especially with 2 strikes. We saw it firsthand last year when he went to the Astros, the first of a 3-year contract, and saw him in 14, but 15 when the Astros had some huge hits against his former club.
A little bit inside with a fastball. And it's funny, then last year he had some big hits against the A's. Vote to follow here in the bottom of the first. Strike 3 called on a very delayed call.
Wow.
I can't believe it.
Not to mention, looked like a bad pitch. Wow. Wow. Look at this. And
Batting in the third position.
the fact that McCann had to go to his left knee. Wow. And McCann did the best thing. He held the target, or held the ball, but there's a changeup and just kept floating away. And delayed call, perhaps a bad location with the slot, the angle in which the umpire set up.
So here's Vogt. First pitch called the strike. Stephen Vogt at 252 with 4 homers and 12 RBIs. He did not play yesterday, but he led the charge from the dugout. And I told him that. He said, yep. He said, I was having a good time. A shot to center, and that's a base hit. First hit of the game. It belongs to Stephen Vogt.
Josh Phegley will cheer for him. He's on the bench today, watching his catcher buddy do the job.
Batting in the fourth
They're in it together.
Third baseman.
And Stephen Vogt back up the middle with a hanging slider that just stayed up in the zone. And Stephen Vogt take the single to center field and try to do something with 2 outs.
We don't know exactly what it means, but it's probably pretty funny because both those guys have a very strong sense of humor.
They do. Oh, and Stephen Vogt said the best thing about Jesse Hahn when Joe West is going to make him remove the sleeve. He said it's logical. Put one on the other arm. And Fegg said it actually came from the dugout, the Tigers dugout after the first pitch. And it wasn't Kinsler, but Jesse Hahn had a sleeve on his right arm. And they were going to make him take it off. And Stephen Vogt said, here's another sleeve. Put it on the left. And he did it. And Jesse,
makes perfect sense.
That's right. He said it's too logical. But that's what the logical man did. Wow.
So the count 0-2. Valencia is going to go for a little walk. So the very first inning, the A's not happy with the strike zone of Ramon de Jesus. So something to watch for as the game goes on, because teams usually show as much patience as they can, but if it continues and the frustration continues, generally the chirping continues toward the umpire. 0-2 pitch, broken bat hit up the middle, and that's going to get through for a base hit, and Vogt's going to round second, and Vogt will go to third. It just got through, and it helped that Iglesias was really pulled over into the hole. I think if he's playing normal spot, he makes that play, but he was well into the hole, and he just had too far to go.
Look where McCann set up. And granted, it's 0-2, trying to maybe set up another pitch. But you know what, Kai? If this umpire is going to give several inches off the plate outside, why do you think about going inside? But it really helped Valencia that McCann moved inside, broke his bat. But like you said, with Iglesias playing in the pull, probably because of the location of the pitch, thinking he would pull it. But bottom line, I mean, you take advantage of an umpire if he's giving you certain pitches, and you just keep going out farther and farther until basically he says that's it, and not giving you the call. But it really helped the A's that time with a broken bat base hit by Valencia.
So 2-out rally. Here's Davis. Chris Davis, a little pop-up behind first. Cabrera in foul territory has it. Side retired. So the A's strand a pair in the first. No score after 1 from the Coliseum. California is brought to you by AAA. What does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? Well, it should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details. Well, it's a beautiful day. Memorial Day weekend. Flags flying high, as they should be.
That's right. Breeze blowing and taking no glory and really spreading it out. That's great to see.
Well, I was just sitting here and looking around. It's nice and warm, but there's a nice breeze.
That's right.
It's a beautiful, beautiful day.
Down in the lower bowl, though, there's not much breeze. That's why the sunscreen is important.
Probably warm down there.
Well, maybe the A's can take advantage of the liberal strike zone by Mr. DeJesus behind the plate as well. There's the breeze and the view quarters, but those people have the great seats, but it's a little toasty and enjoying every minute of it.
1-1 the count to Victor Martinez. Martinez, Castellanos, and Upton. 341 the average for Victor Martinez. Swing and a miss. Martinez is second in the league in hitting. Xander Bogaerts is hitting .351,
right,
leading the league. David Ortiz is third at .339.
And we were talking yesterday about the Tigers needed a shortstop. They got Iglesias because Bogaerts basically was the main guy in Boston, and he has proven to be outstanding.
And that one pops off the glove of Valencia, rolls down toward the bullpen mound. Martinez is going to stop, and he'll retreat back to first. So Valencia, that's a tough play, backed up on it, and it was that in-between hop as well.
Batting in the 5th position.
Yeah, fortunately, Victor does not run particularly fast and gets a single. Otherwise, he might have at least attempted to go to second.
So it's going to be a single for Victor Martinez. Castellanos steps up. .333 the average for Castellanos. 10 home runs, 32 RBIs for him. In this series, he is 2 for 8. Waiting on that curveball and rolls it foul. It's funny, you wait.
Yeah, that's you have it in your mind to wait, but as we saw with Kinsler, how long can you wait?
Yeah.
And that's why baseball players are not very good at slow pitch softball, because you can't wait long enough. And got out on the front foot. You're going to see that a lot, where hitters will start their stride, and then here comes a slow curveball, and they usually hit on top of the ball. 9 ground ball outs for Hill in his last start against Seattle.
So what you're saying, Ray, the velocity may be even more important than movement, because the velocity is so far below kind of that normal hitting speed area, which is probably what, 86 to 92 or 3.
Right.
It's so far below that, and that's what makes it so effective.
It really shows that a lot of hitters will think fastball and make an adjustment off the fastball, but means they start their swing and they get out in front. Here's a fastball away, and there's a pitch probably out of the strike zone, but for Castellanos, that you see it, and if you're opening up thinking fastball, you can't pick really the outside part of the plate and how close it is to being a strike.
There's the curve tap toward Valencia, and that's a fair ball. He'll go to second for 1. Andy Fletcher, the third base umpire, made the call.
This is the start in Detroit at Comerica Park, and he did a great job against the Tigers. 8 strikeouts, 7 hits, 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs. I mean, he had the curveball just working. Double play there started by Simeon. You see the guys dressed because it's a little bit chilly in Detroit, except for Rich. He said, I like the cooler weather. He went to school back about 45 minutes for there, Michigan. 7 innings, 4 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts.
And no problem, right?
That's right.
Well, Hill won that night, and then on May 1st, he lost here at home to the Houston Astros by a final score of 2-1. And then since then, he's beat Baltimore, Tampa Bay, Texas, and Seattle. 4 straight wins to get his record to 7-3.
That game lost 2-1. And remember, is Altuve hitting the home run.
That's right.
And then he had Altuve 3-2, throw him a curveball right down the middle of the plate. Call the ball. Just like that right there. It's exactly the same location. It was called the ball. And you know, Rich doesn't show much frustration. He did at St. Petersburg. And if this hadn't been called a strike, he really would have been frustrated.
Well, the count 0-2 to Upton, who waits on that curve and it stays outside.
It's the old ethos that he throws occasionally. It's like the old Louis Tiant. Bill Lee plants the front foot and then just kind of flips the ball up, the curveball, and didn't break sharply enough. He threw one in his last start that was successful.
Curveball is hit high in the air down the left field line, a towering drive. It's going to be into the seats. Coco leaped up to try to make the catch. You get a nice play down there by a fan, I do believe.
Not many down in that section, so it had to be a good one by whoever was there. Had a lot of room. Coco thought he was going to catch it as he climbed the wall. But the fan.
We're going to give it to him.
That's right. He did not reach over. And that's important. Mr. Bartman. And see, he didn't reach over either. And he got criticized.
He got a bad rap.
Yeah,
I agree.
He got criticized, and all he did was stay in the stands.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
There was a guy 2 people over from Bartman who did worse than he did, and he's doing all the interviews.
That's right.
Strike 3 called. Upton knew it.
And Upton knew he was looking curveball, got a fastball. Cap, we have seen that so often with Rich Hill. Watch this swing. He's sitting curveball and got a fastball, and he said, I'm out of here. But, you know, he guessed and guessed wrong. And Upton's such a good hitter anyway, but at that point, and he almost hit the curveball for a home run, and I think that's the reason Vody went back to the fastball. Because, hey, if he's looking to hit that, almost hit it out for a home run, he may be looking for it again, throw a fastball, and it was a good one.
Here's Cameron Maybin. Maybin is 1 for 7 in this series. He takes the first pitch strike.
1 for 7 at the plate, 0 for 1 in the outfield. Man, what a tough job. I hope he has better sunglasses today because this sun is as bright, if not brighter, than yesterday.
Maybin, base hit right field. Castellanos had to stop and let it go past him. So 2 on and 2 out.
Well, he waited on this curveball, and a lot of hits to the right side. If you get it past Alonso, you're doing a good job because he has great hands, and
number 34,
Castellanos making sure he was not hit by the ball.
So Expo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. So here's James McCann, the catcher. He was 1 for 5. He was in the lineup on Friday night. Salta Lamakia yesterday. McCann back in there today. First pitch is a fastball for a strike from Hill.
And by the way, Stephen Vogt said Rich Hill can call me Steve anytime he wants to.
Steve. It just doesn't sound
He
right.
says,
Steve Vogt.
He said, Steve, how you doing? I said, I'm doing fine, Rich.
Steve Vogt. It almost sounds like one name, Steve Vogt.
When Andrew Lambeau was here for the Fan Fest, I made the mistake of calling him Andy. I got that look of, my name's not Andy, it's, you know, so I think what Rich Hill said, Steven, shortened for Steve, so let's just go with Steve. And Vody said, call me whatever you want, just keep pitching well.
I think it's an innocent mistake by you. Andy, Andrew.
Yeah, you just figure somebody's named Andrew. You know, that's why we really now have to figure out what does this guy want to be called.
It's not like you called him Ange, right? Like the Andy Griffith Show where Andy was Ange.
That's a good point. Dating ourselves, aren't we?
I know we are. 2-1 to McCann. And now 2-2, 73 miles per hour. So there's that velocity that we're talking about.
So you're looking probably, and he's questioning the call. McCann is. McCann, of all people, should not be questioning anything, considering when he was behind the plate at the bottom of the first, some of the pitches that were called strikes. Let's look back and
and there's a line drive left field, a base hit. Castellanos hustling in. The throw goes to third, and Maben makes it there, and the Tigers take a 1-0 lead on a big 2-out RBI hit by James McCann.
Well, the curveball down and in. He took the pitch that was backdoor, but this one, similar to the one he struck out Kinsler on in the first inning.
Batting in the ninth position.
But this one stayed up a little bit. He wanted to go back. It stayed towards the middle inside part of the plate, and McCann just yanked it down the left field line. So that time maybe thrown a little bit harder than what Stephen Vogt had called, especially the way he set up outside.
That'll bring up Iglesias, who goes after the first pitch, pops it up behind second base. And Lowry grabs it side retired. So a run on 3 hits for the Tigers. Bottom of the second coming up. It's Detroit 1 and the A's nothing.
Party. Check out the A's Eastside Club. Eastside Club accommodates up to 1,200 guests and includes a pregame catered meal and a game ticket. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/BBQ. That's a good one.
Enter right there.
That's right. 1,200 people. It'll hold it too. Fan Fest is held out there on occasion. Yeah, parties. It's a fun place.
So the A's come to bat here in the bottom of the second, now trailing 1-0. Alonso, Simeon, and Coughlin. A's mounted a threat in the first inning, but stranded 2.
Guthrie has that nice, easy delivery, and his fastball will be in the low 90s, but it's got a mixture of pitches as well as he threw the changeup split, kind of a change split that he threw to Lowry that was called strike 3.
He's a big fella, 6'7", 240 pounds, Mike Pelfrey. Started with the Mets, was the first-round draft pick of the Mets, and then spent 3 years in Minnesota, and now here in Detroit. Does not have a very good career record. This is his 9th year in the big leagues. He's 61 and 85. That one's drilled toward shallow center. Maben comes in to make the catch.
Comerica Park, Marcus Simmons, one of his 10 home runs, a fastball that was up a little bit. It was his 5th home run and a 2-run shot that helped the A's win the game over at Mike Pelfrey. Marcus a little bit different here because if he hit it in cold weather at Comerica Park that night, today should be beautiful for him.
Yep. And here is Simeon, and the pitch just a bit outside.
Have to wait on the umpire, don't we? It's amazing.
Yeah, he's got a little delay, and
it's almost like he lets the pitch cross the plate and then makes a decision, which sometimes can be good.
Well, you know what? If, as we were saying, that's what you do with that breaking ball, then
that's right.
He's taking a good look at it. What you don't want to do is just delay too much, because I think that will kind of, that'll end up being what people see, that it was a delayed call.
That's right. Especially the hitter, in the case of Lowry, who was called out on a pitch that he thought was out of the strike zone.
And it may have been, but just that delay makes it look worse. One and two the count to Marcus Semien. 10 home runs, 22 RBIs, and in this series for Marcus, 2 for 7. Lefty. His day's good now.
Especially in those seats. They were pointing to the second deck, say, hey, we're down here, we got a ball. You're up in the second level, but those are good seats also. As Chang knows, he here. No, he's not in his normal seat. Maybe he's allowing other
people. But that's his flag, though.
Yeah, he's probably just getting a beverage or something. So
swing and a miss. There's the high fastball, and that's strikeout number 2. Pelfrey still running up there a little bit.
Well, especially elevated, and that's why it's difficult there in that location to try to get on top. And that's what was impressive about Valencia yesterday when he hit the home run to straightaway center on a pitch clearly out of the strike zone off of Matt Boyd.
Here's Coghlan. Coghlan playing right field today. It's his 4th start in right field on the season. Most of his starts had been at second base and third base. Now he has a fair amount of at-bats against Pelfrey, 4 for 21. It usually means they were in the same division at some point, and they were, with Pelfrey pitching for New York and Coghlan playing for the Marlins. In for a strike, 1-1 the count. See the play ball patch. Play ball weekend here in Oakland, which is every team has a play ball weekend. I got a wiffle bat today. See that? Green wiffle bat.
And you know what's good?
Got a wiffle ball on it, so I know what I'm doing when I get home.
You know what's good about that? It's that you are home. You don't have to try to pack in a suitcase, which you did on the road trip.
You know, that's a good call by you. I so wanted to take the blue Tampa Bay Ray wiffle bat home with me, and then I looked at it, used the eyeball measurement test, and I realized that if I put that in my suitcase,
it's not gonna work.
I don't think it was going to fit.
But
so I took the wiffle ball home.
And the fedora.
The fedora made it home.
Yeah, that's always nice when you get those when you're home, because
yeah, that's a good
put them in your car. You don't have to pack them. And
so this wiffle bat is green, obviously. 2-2 pitch, line drive, and a base hit to left field by Coghlan.
Well, maybe a little familiarity with that location of the pitch, down and away, maybe even out of the strike zone. But Chris Coghlan going to the opposite field with a pitch, pretty good pitch by Pelfrey, down and away. Coghlan went with it perfectly, and what we have seen with Chris Coghlan, his home runs, a lot of power going to the opposite field, and that base hit even that much more special. See if the realignment now of the A's batting order with Billy Burns at the bottom, with Coco back at the top. So you have speed 9 and 1, and after the first time through the order, then that's like a couple of hitters hitting back to back.
First pitch to Burns, outside corner for a strike. Burns 0 for 8 in the series, so his average down to 258. This is the deepest we've seen in outfield play, Billy Burns. Would you agree?
Wow. No doubles in the second inning.
Generally, the outfield is extremely shallow against Burns, and this makes sense. But the depth by the outfielders for the Tigers is about normal. Maybe up and in a little bit in left field, but Maben, who I think Maben seems like he plays a deep center field.
Well, it could be with 2 outs and trying to prevent Coughlin from scoring and an extra base hit and ball in the gap. But that is very deep, and that could help Billy Burns and also Coco do up next.
Fastball. Call the ball. 1-1 the count.
I hate to say it, it's just the second inning, but every pitch is thrown, you kind of, what's he going to call?
Yeah.
What's he going to call? I mean, it's because anytime an umpire has a delay call where he doesn't really come up quickly with a fist, or, you know, if he doesn't do anything, but the right fist, right hand indicates a strike, but it's a little bit delayed.
Backhanded by Castellanos, who throws across in time. Side retired. So a runner left for the A's, and we're on to the third. 1-0 Tigers. CSN California is brought to you by USAA. For those who gave everything that we may breathe free, we honor you. Indeed, we do. Diablo off in the distance. Tigers won, the A's nothing. It's the top of the third in the rubber game of this series. Tigers got the top of their order up against Rich Hill. Tigers are 24-24 on the season. They've won 9 out of their last 12. They are 2.5 back in the tight AL Central. 12-13 at home, or 12-13 on the road, excuse me. 12-11 at home. Making their West Coast trip. They will go to Seattle in August. But just Oakland and Anaheim this time. So they'll have to head out one more time. How about a hot cold zone for Ian Kinsler? Where is he good? He likes it inside. That doesn't surprise us because he kind of opens up a little bit. And I think, Ray, a lot of the balls that Kinsler hits to right field, and he hits a fair amount. We've seen him in this series, but a lot of times he'll get jammed a little bit and just kind of the ball ends up going that way. I think he likes to pull the ball.
Well, he had that patent swing in Arlington, Texas. He'd always kind of open his hips as he prepared, and he got a pitch anywhere that he could break to left field, usually on a line drive, because the wind had a tendency to knock balls down in that stadium in left field. We don't know what the new stadium's going to be like. Let's see.
Wow, that ballpark in Arlington, that place is just old, and it is time to go.
Don't you usually like to pay for something before you get something new?
I know. We want a new ballpark. We get it. Okay, maybe we're envious. Who knows? 2-0 the count to J.D. Martinez after the walk to Kinsler.
Stephen Vogt talking to DeJesus right now about that last pitch, because that crossed a lot of the plate, and it was down low enough that, and Stephen, in just a very casual way, not to show up the umpire, just trying to say stay on it a little bit longer.
Still talking to him.
Yeah. So
what's the trick? You turn your head like maybe you're looking in the dugout, and nobody knows except the two of you.
Actually, you can do it right now in the squatting position, just as he leans over.
I always wondered what the hitter is thinking when the catcher is trying to get a strike called and he's talking to the umpire about it. Do you think the hitter wants in on the conversation?
He says, "Don't listen to him." He said,
I thought it was a great call.
Don't pay attention to anything he's saying.
Little off the plate. Runner goes, and the ball's fouled back by J.D. Martinez.
What a great jump, and swinging on 3-0, which with that kind of a jump, and although Martinez had the green light, if there's ever a time not to look at this jump. I mean, he walked to second base and looked back. What would have been better that time, swinging 3-0, was being a line drive to the infield, turning it into a double play. Riccio was concentrating on the hitter on the 3-0.
Brad Ausmus keeping a close eye on everything. Probably thinking, should I start Kinsler again?
Kinsler might have gone on his own on the 3-0, figuring that he knew his hitter had the green light, and he probably even knew much better that it was going to be a fastball down the middle. Martinez just happened to foul it back.
And there's the big breaking ball, and Martinez swings over top.
Well, it's the first 3-2 count for Rich Hill today. Here's the curveball, a good curveball. So from 3-0 to 3-2. And you just have to look Kinsler back, and he might make a little slide step quick pitch to the plate. Figure Kinsler's going to be running.
And that one foul back. Now, Kinsler, when he was with the Rangers, more of a base stealer than he is now. In fact, the last couple years really has not stolen a lot of bases. 15 2 years ago, 10 last year. But he was 25 30 stolen base guy a year when he was with the Rangers. He's got a good lead walking off. You see that a lot, guys, as they get a little bit older, steal a little bit less.
But I think also from the left-handed pitcher standpoint, you might get the call from the dugout to either throw over or throw to the plate. They come from the dugout, and Stephen Vogt realized them from the skipper. But bottom line, you're left-hander, you can see him and lift the front foot. You can decide to go to first if he's going to take off.
And that one missed.
Wow.
And Hill is asking the umpire, was it outside? And the umpire said yes.
He didn't stay with it. Watch Martinez. He gives up on it and he takes off.
Batting, number 24, Miguel Cabrera.
Amazing.
So 2 walks here, leading off the top of the third, and now Miguel Cabrera steps in. Cabrera struck out in the first inning. And that one's hit towards second. Lowry to Simeon, on to first, a double play, and a big one. Miguel Cabrera. I didn't want to say it before the at-bat because I'm superstitious, Ray, but he's hitless in the series.
So that didn't do on Anaheim, but this tried to go to the opposite field on the breaking ball, but Jed Lowry had plenty of time as Cabrera running as hard, as fast as he could, but plenty of time as hard as the ball was hit to turn the 4-6-3, and once again a runner going straight into second, opening up a complete lane for Marcus Semien after he got the throw to clear himself out of the way. There's no reason for a middle infielder to stay anywhere close to second base anymore, because you're opening up the opportunity for a runner to take you out, but all you have to do is hit the bag and go a couple of feet either side, and with the new rules, runner has to go straight in. That was a huge double play.
And now it's Victor Martinez. Martinez had a base hit in the second inning. He is 4 for 8 in this series. He has a .400 batting average with runners in scoring position.
Well, and this could be a pitch carefully, and even though he's walked 2 in the inning, it could be, instead of getting Castellanos all excited by intentionally walking him, see what he does as far as how he pitches to him.
Now it's 2-0.
And certain pitchers can pitch a hitter carefully. Others, you just put up the 4 fingers, or maybe in the future you just say we're going to put him on and just walks. Don't even have to have a pitcher throw. You know what? You may be seeing more of that next year if they do implement that new rule into baseball where there's no 4 pitches on an intentional walk.
There's probably some pitchers who are going, it's a good idea. You know, and I like that idea.
Let's. Great idea. Steven's standing up. Let's see if he puts the hand out. No, they're going to pitch to him. I would be careful here. Rich Hill's a veteran.
Kinsler is the runner at third. And that one is in for a strike. So Martinez probably thinking, that looks like they're pitching around me. Oh, maybe they're not. Right.
Except when he gets a curveball 3-1. Just hope he's not sitting back and waiting for it. Oh, fastball.
And it is fair, and it's past Valencia down the left field line. Victor Martinez will hold at first as Kinsler comes in to score. And it's another 2-out RBI single for the Tigers, and they lead 2-0.
Well, he turned quickly on a fastball, and that's a very quick turn. And I don't know if Rich Hill was pointing that it went foul. And Valencia did not get a glove on it.
Now batting.
But it landed in foul territory, but it's went across spin off over the bag, and third base umpire looking right at it.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
So for Martinez, his 30th RBI. And he's 2 for 2. Castellanos reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the second inning. This one in the air down the right field line. It's going to be foul. Just around that Tigers bullpen.
So far today for the Tigers, it's been the big 2-out hit. McCann last inning, Victor Martinez this inning. Especially after you get a double play off the bat of the great one, Miguel Cabrera. But Victor,
it is somewhat of a relentless lineup.
Oh, it's especially the 3-4.
And the 0-2 pitch, a fastball and a swing and a miss. Side retired, but the walks end up hurting Rich Hill as Victor Martinez has the 2-out RBI single. 2-0 Detroit.
That's baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment, any moment, with game day, live game, video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet.
Well, the A's trailing 2-0 now, bottom of the third. Pelfrey drops breaking ball in for a strike to Coco Crisp. Coco popped out to the shortstop in the first inning. 3 for 10 in the series is Crisp. He's sitting on an 11-game hitting streak. It's the most by an A's player this season. Not this time, though, as he grounds out to Kinsler, 1 away.
Now, so far, Pelfrey, one time through the batting order, now the second time. He is mixing his pitches, and as you mentioned, he is a large pitcher, very tall, but you're maybe looking for a little bit too much, but he is doing a good job using all of his pitches. Oh, what a day.
It's a good day for that youngster.
Got my food.
Is that a red rope? I'd give him like $2 for that red rope right now. You start eating a red rope, though, and then
right.
Is it humanly possible to eat just one red rope?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Maybe for him, but
yeah, you only maybe want to give him one, if a
yeah, that's
full
true.
one at that.
Yeah, it'll take him a little while. Lowry struck out looking in the first inning. High in the air, but playable in right field for J.D. Martinez. Martinez grabs it. What does this mean, Ray?
Don't get hurt.
Kendall Graveman taking batting practice. That was yesterday, and we're starting to see the A's hitters just swing it a little bit.
Well, again, I think what the skipper said is he's standing behind these guys, watching them take these big swings. And he says you can swing all you want, but you get a guy on base, you better be able to bunt, because that's what you're going to be asked to do when they're in Milwaukee and in Cincinnati.
And that's coming up next road trip.
Yep.
So it'll be 2 in Milwaukee and then 3 in Cincinnati. And then also later on in the month of June, you'll have 2 in San Francisco. So you have 7 interleague games on the road in June. So it becomes part of the game. Whether you like it or not, that doesn't really make any difference. 1-1 the count to Vogt, who had a base hit in the first.
Well, last year in San Diego, Scott Kazmir had a runner on and actually hit a triple. And maybe one of the worst things can happen to a pitcher, to have to run the bases. And
yeah, that's true.
They won't be shifting pitchers like they're doing Stephen Vogt now with 2 strikes, but Kazmir hit the triple, which actually helped the A's win the game against the Padres. But man, it's tough to go back out and pitch after that.
And Upton will play it on a hop, so that's another hit for Vogt. And 4 hits now for the A's.
Stephen right now letting the ball come to him, and that's what he's talked about, instead of trying to go out and get a pitch. And by doing what he's doing there with the pitch away, staying back and then hitting it hard to left field. And actually Justin Upton made a very good play, because as an outfielder, knowing there are 2 outs, you try to make a spectacular play, turn it into an extra base hit. Right now Stevens at first, and Danny Valencia capable of driving him in from first, and the A's are hoping that could happen.
Valencia had a hit in the first inning. Drives this one to center. That's hit well. Maben's back. Warning track. Couple steps in front of the wall, and he makes the catch. Side retired. A runner left. And the 4th inning is coming up from the Coliseum. 2-0 Tigers. 7 wins on the season. Combined A's starters after Hill also have 7 wins. He was a reliever for a long time. Most wins this year since he won 11 for the Cubs. His most wins before the end of May, 7. Mark Mulder had 8 before the end of May back in 2003. Kind of a long, winding road for Rich Hill. He entered professional baseball in 2002. Got to the big leagues in 2005 with the Cubs. And the Cubs, the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Indians, the Angels, Yankees, Red Sox again, and now the A's.
Not to mention independent baseball.
Yeah, let's not forget that.
Yeah. But still saying it's really a credit to the A's organization, and pretty much saying to Rich Hill, you can be in our rotation. And as he said at the Fan Fest, he had other opportunities, but he wanted to sign with the A's, and well, the A's are fortunate that he is with them.
Upton drives one towards center. Burns is there. But Rich Hill, 36 years old, and A's gave him a 1-year, $6 million deal. And all of a sudden, he's one of the most talked about starters in the American League for different reasons. But he's been fun to watch. You just don't see guys who are considered breaking ball pitchers. You just don't see that a lot. And the breaking ball is his best pitch, and he uses it more than most pitchers use a curveball. In for a strike to Maben, and the count is 1-1.
You think of Ryan Madsen, who has an outstanding changeup, fastballs and curveballs, and a couple of changeups, but it's been those 2 pitches, and that's what Stephen Vogt said, 1 or 2. You know, it's not really a lot of thinking. Well, there is thinking because you're trying to think against what the hitter might be looking for. I give Rich Hill a lot of credit because there's some guys that will fight. I think of Jamie Moyer, who was told many years ago, no chance for you to pitch in major league level, go to the minor leagues, and he ended up winning a heck of a lot of games. So Rich Hill could pitch and continue to pitch, especially with that specialty pitch that a lot of hitters aren't accustomed to seeing.
Now batting, number 34, James McCann.
Oh, pitching such a hot commodity. I mean, if Rich Hill were to continue on and at the end of this season have very strong numbers, how much demand will he be in next year?
Yeah,
be a free agent.
Well, sadly, from the A standpoint, he's already in demand from other clubs now looking for pitching, because you said it's a hot commodity, and there are teams that are in contention, leading, whatever, that's saying, "Wow, who could we pick up?" And believing, you usually see a lot of scouts around postseason or leading up to postseason. They're hovering right now. I mean, they're like these birds flying over.
Just right there. They're flying over the A's front office.
Yeah,
front office guys like, get out of here.
Yeah,
come on, it's May.
Saw a scout yesterday, said, "Who are you here to look at?" And he says, "You got any pitchers?" Looking for some bullpen help, but those Seagulls, they're not alone this time of the year.
So 1-2 the count to James McCann, who had the RBI single in the second inning, a 2-out RBI hit. So McCann is finished, and so are the Tigers. A 3-up, 3-down inning in the 4th. So 2-0 as the A's come to bat in the bottom of the 4th. California is brought to you by Clipper for work, play, and all points between. Use Clipper instead of cash to pay for transit. Not a bad idea. 2-0 Tigers lead. It's the bottom of the 4th inning. Davis, Alonso, and Simeon drink lots of water today. Now Pelfrey back to work. He's allowed 4 hits. He has not walked anybody. Struck out a couple. He's had a little trouble in the 1st inning. Got through that. Davis popped out to first to end the 1st with 2 runners on. This one's hit high in the air to right field. Backing up is Martinez. But Davis is gone. 1 out.
It looked like the game in Detroit. Some things happened to benefit the A's. Remember,
Now batting first
Reddick stole
baseman.
second. Iglesias kind of pulled off a little bit. Probably should have been out. And then Lowry hit a ball off Iglesias' glove to score a run. And so little things happened. And it was Pelfrey's game. I mean, he probably deserved better than what he got, but then gave up the 2-run home run to Simeon to kind of cap the scoring for the Athletics. But today a little bit different, especially the way he is changing speeds on all of his pitches and using everything.
Alonso takes a strike. Yonder Alonso hit a fly ball to center field in the 2nd inning. Now Pelfrey, first 4 starts, he lost them all. Next 5 starts, 5 no decisions. So that's how he has got to the 0-4 record.
And his former team, the Minnesota Twins, trying to sweep the Mariners.
Yeah, how about that?
They're leading 4-2 in this afternoon's game. So it's kind of good that they're playing well, because the last thing you need to do with a team that's got a bad record like the Twins, having them come in and think you can just walk through them. But they have played very well against the Mariners. They beat Felix, what, Friday night?
Yep. And that's Nolasco for the Twins, Walker for the Mariners today. Strike with a changeup, 2-2. So we'll keep an eye on that one. 4-2 Twins in the 4th.
Well, this is this little split change, just kind of floats it in outside corner.
So 2-2 pitch. Here it is. Bounce to the left side. Castellanos has it. Alonso is gone. 2 away.
Now celebrate Father's Day at the ballpark. Log on to athletics.com/tickets and use coupon code DAD to receive $10 off field level tickets to see the A's take on their AL West rivals, the Los Angeles Angels. Discounted Father's Day tickets are subject to availability, so make plans now to treat Dad to an afternoon of baseball on Sunday, June the 19th. That will be a day that he will always remember. It's his day anyway, whether an A's cap or Tigers cap. Come to an A's game. That will be the Angels. And you know the Angels will always play well.
Bunted back to Pelfrey. The big guy throws to first, side retired. So it's the first 3 up, 3 down inning for Mike Pelfrey. And the 5th inning is coming up. It'll be Iglesias, Kinsler, and Martinez. 2-0 Detroit. with Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai tonight at 6 and 10:30. And it's on our sister station, CSN Bay Area. We'll have all the highlights from this game. Steve Kerr and the Warriors getting set for Game 7 tomorrow night. The Sharks in Pittsburgh getting set for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Pretty good day tomorrow. Kelly Johnson and Ahmed Reed will host. First pitch swinging Iglesias. Skies one toward Burns in center. One pitch, one out here in the top of the 5th.
Well, it's going to be a busy day around here tomorrow for sure.
Game 7 for the Warriors, which will be right here next door. Of course, the A's and the Twins will play a day game.
Thankfully.
And, and Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals in Pittsburgh, Sharks and Penguins. So yeah, that's pretty darn good. Top of the order, Ian Kinsler. Strikeout and a walk for Kinsler. He walked and scored in that 3rd inning.
Not surprising. Kinsler took the first pitch. It was a fastball and it was a strike. You'd have to think as many curveballs as Hill throws. If you're overly aggressive, just taking a pitch, he has to throw it for a strike. But fooled Kinsler by throwing a fastball for a first pitch strike.
Popped up. Alonso coming over, looking up into the bright sunshine, and he's got it.
You're right, Eric Hosmer's good, but we get a chance to watch this guy every day. He's got the flip down sunglasses. Thank you very much, Alonso. Yonder's got the flip down. We have to show his cap. Just show the flip down sunglasses and how those operate, because those are the best. See, just right under the bill of the cap, got a little edge over to the right. You find the ball, flip them down, catch the ball.
Go get them.
And with this bright sun, Yonder Alonso's very, very smart to be able to do it. And there's the wraparounds. There's the wraparounds. But see, Alonso is able to take his off to use his eyes. But if you have the wraparounds, they stay on your face. I mean, stay on your eyes. But at least with Yonder, he only uses them really on a fly ball. Thank you, Yonder Alonso. They're still around. He probably puts those in his locker and says nobody can touch them.
And you're right. He is in the minority. So 0-2 to J.D. Martinez, who has struck out and walked. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Strikeout number 7 for Rich Hill. A very nice top of the 5th inning for Hill. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Coughlin, Burns, and Crisp to hit. St. California is brought to you by your Bay Area Hyundai dealers. The Memorial Day sales event is going on right now at your local Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today. 2-0 Tigers lead. It is the bottom of the 5th inning on a beautiful day in the Bay Area. Mystery's supposed to be a little warmer tomorrow.
Oh, yes. Very nice weekend.
So it's Coghlan, Burns, and Crisp. A's trying to get something going against Mike Pelfrey, who's been pretty good.
That was just his 56th pitch here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So pitch count is great for him, and the way he is going through the A's lineup, just changing speeds. Give the veteran a lot of credit.
He's retired 7 out of the last 8. Coghlan had a hit in the 2nd inning. Lined a single to left field with 2 outs. Couple of strikeouts. Pelfrey has not walked anybody. Good swing there by Coghlan. Fouls it right back to the screen. Astros are leading the Angels 3-2 in the 6th inning. Pfister and Tropiano, the starting pitchers in that game. Started about a half hour before ours. It's the rubber game of that series.
The A's will get Pfister sometime next weekend. A's are off Thursday. Play the Astros next weekend, and Doug Pfister, who did a great job against the A's here in that series finale, changing speeds like Pelfrey today.
And the Astros will play the Diamondbacks Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that's one of those 2 at home, 2 on the road series. And the Angels, of course, will host these Tigers Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. A little bit inside. Close pitch, 3-2.
So the Diamondbacks and the Astros at rivalry, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's bitter rivalry. 2 teams that just don't like each other. Payoff pitch to Coghlan, swinging and a miss. He struck him out with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
That's called saving a little bit extra, and he did it on the 3-2. He's been about 89, 92, and here comes a 4-seam right over the top at 94.
Now batting center fielder.
All right, with the
Burns.
Tigers, their offense is good. They're going to score enough runs, but their pitching coming into today's game 13th as far as team ERA goes in the league. So they need another starter to kind of step up. Verlander's been better lately. See, I'm just not sure he's the Verlander of 3-4 years ago. Zimmerman's been very good. He's a little banged up now, but he's been good. But saw Fulmer, who was very good, but he's a rookie. So Anibal Sanchez, he has struggled. So they need Pelfrey to start pitching better. I mean, there's no question about it. Anibal Sanchez is 3-6 with an ERA over 6. Pelfrey's ERA 5.5.
Remember, they offered Max Scherzer 160 and he turned it down. Now, of course, he got 210 at Washington, but they wanted to keep him.
Sure.
And that would have been a good one to keep. But Doug Pfister also is gone. At one time, a few years ago, the A's went in and faced Verlander, Sanchez, Pfister, and Scherzer in a 4-game series. Won 3 out of 4. And they were good.
We saw Matt Boyd,
yeah,
another young guy. But I guess my point is you know, Fulmer and Boyd, they're young guys, and they may turn out to be very good. But at this point in time, you need Pelfrey and Sanchez and Verlander to pitch well, I think, if you're going to win this division.
If you have the offense that they have, the veteran offense, you're looking for veteran pitchers, or at least pitchers who can pitch well enough to hold a lead.
Castellanos has it. Quick throw to first, and they get Burns for out number 2. Castellanos playing on the grass, and he knew he had a little time, but not a lot. 6 in a row retired by Pelfrey. And here comes the top of the order in Coco Crisp.
Everything the A's have done today has been with 2 outs. 2 outs in the first, or 2 hits. A hit in the second with 2 outs. Same in the third. Nothing in the fourth. 6 in a row retired by Pelfrey.
Coco Chris today has popped to short and grounded to second. Stephen Vogt with a couple of hits today. Valencia has a hit. Coghlan has a hit. All singles. In for a strike. 1-1 the count. 93 miles an hour from Pelfrey. This will be it for the A's and the Tigers this year.
Yeah, check out the Yankees and now the Tigers.
Check them off. Throw the media guide away.
They're done. See them no more unless you're fortunate to play in October.
In the dirt. Maybe the center fielder shifted over toward left center. Coco has a big gap in right center field. And that one's driven toward left center, but Maben playing that way, and he gets there and he makes the catch. So 3 up, 3 down inning. So you've heard of 2 dog nights, the great 3 dog night. That's a 4 dog day right there. And I wish them the best of luck. Is here recognizing teachers that make a difference. Visit csncalifornia.com and vote. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school. So it is a 2-0 Tigers lead. Cabrera, Martinez, Castellanos. First pitch called a strike to Miguel Cabrera, who is struck out and hit into a double play. He's 0 for 7 in the series. I don't think he heard me. I hope he didn't hear me.
I hope he did. But all the fans did.
And on 3 pitches, Cabrera strikes out for the 2nd time. So Rich Hill picks up his 8th strikeout.
After the first at bat when he struck out, he really fired his bat to the dugout. Drop down. You don't see that often where a left-hander drops down to throw sidearm to a right-hander. Figure they could see the ball better, but it was a fastball and it's by Miguel Cabrera. And he was frustrated after first at bat, grounded into a double play, and then this strikeout on a fastball.
They're missing one. They're working on it, though.
The guy in the cap has to draw a new one.
That one is hit down the left field line. It's trouble, and it bangs off the wall, and Martinez will have a long single. Victor Martinez is 3 for 3 in this game. And he is now 6 for 10 in the series. So runner aboard.
Now batting, number 9.
Strikeouts per start this season. He's averaging 6.5, a high of 10, and today he's got 8. And that is why coming into today he was 9th in the league in strikeouts. He struck out 10 in his second start at Seattle, and he struck out 10 at New York.
He just walked off the mound very thankful that that ball hit by Victor Martinez didn't have some elevation, because it was hit hard enough to get out. It banged against the wall, holding him to just a single.
Castellanos goes after the first pitch and skies one foul into the second level.
Now, Cabrera and Victor Martinez are good friends. Don't you think Miggy's got to be saying, Victor, how do you do it? There's a strikeout, a double play, and a strikeout, and he's got 3 hits.
Well, if Miguel Cabrera is going to say, how do you do it to anybody, that anybody must be pretty good.
That's what Victor's hitting behind him. That's why Miggy wants him to stay right there in a Tigers uniform.
That one is driven right center. Burns hustling back, and Burns is going to get there, and he makes the catch. He was just shaded that way a little bit, and I think that helped.
Yeah, because it was a hanging curveball, and Castellanos a good job going that direction on a pitch that was left up.
Number 8.
No.
See, if he's not over there, Ray,
Slicing
I mean, it may get to the gap.
And for Billy Burns, able to keep to his feet. We have seen him actually first hitter to open this series, a diving catch against Ian Kinsler, but he's looking at Mike Aldrete. Where do you want me to go? And there's Mike Aldrete telling him to move a couple of steps over.
Justin Upton takes a curveball outside, and Rich Hill asked the home plate umpire, was it indeed outside? Upton has struck out and hit a fly ball to center field. And there's the breaking ball. That one is a strike. Upton is 2 for 10 in the series. On the ground to Simeon. He's got it. He'll go to second. Side retired. So a hit and a runner left. Bottom of the 6th coming up. It'll be Lowry, Vogt, and Valencia. Still 2-0 Detroit. This year in Washington, Max Scherzer strikes out 20. Detroit Tigers becomes one of 7 players to do so, and the 5th to strike out 20 in a 9-inning game. So Scherzer, a little insult to injury doing that against his former team, the Tigers. That was the final out. He was going for the 21 strikeouts in the record, and he ended up with 20. How about this? Brad Ausmus on the losing end in all 3 of the 5. He was the manager, obviously, in that game, but Kerry Wood in 1998, he was in the lineup. Roger Clemens in 1996, he was in the lineup. Days to forget if you're Brad Ausmus, whether you're playing or manage. You'd probably rather be managing because the at-bats could not have been very fun. He did get a hit off Roger Clemens in that 1996 game. So I'm sure Brad Ausmus is just thrilled that we put that together just for him.
Well, he probably remembers against Clemens that Don Baylor dropped a ball that allowed another strikeout.
That's right.
He dropped a foul ball, but he probably just remembers his own at-bats.
Especially if you did get a hit.
You know, you think of 27 outs in a game and 20 of them are punch outs. There's only 7. Infielders and outfielders could just say, let's go home. But that's quite remarkable. And, you know, I was thinking when I said that Scherzer turned down 160, he was offered 160 by the Tigers. That's a lot of money. You talk about confidence in yourself. That you're going to get more? And he did.
And he did.
But I'm sure Mike Yelich, the owner of the Tigers, was willing to pay him a lot of money. Maybe it's 160 offered Juan Gonzalez that he turned down. The same, but that's a lot to turn down. But it worked out well for Scherzer and the Washington Nationals, especially for Scherzer.
The 3-1 pitch to Lowry, and he walked him. So good start for the A's here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the Roger Clemens 20 strikeout performance again, September 18th of 1996. It's always fun to kind of look at the names. Travis Fryman.
He had a great split thing of fastball. Clemens could throw it hard. And
21.
Hasselman. A whole lot of.
There's another one.
A whole lot of. I mean, you're talking about a long time ago, man. I mean, it's 20 years. Wow. 96 or 86, 30. It was 86. Yeah, that's right.
That is a long time.
That is a long time. Well, the thing that about Stephen Vogt hitting now, catching Rich Hill, this is the kind of performance by Rich Hill where you're saying in the dugout, your offense, scoring some runs. Yeah, you know, pitching well, let's score him some runs. And manager, hitting coach, everybody talking about let's get some runs. So this is the first opportunity the A's have had to have the leadoff runner on base. So nice little run by Pelfrey as he retired 7 in a row for this walk to start this inning.
Vogt's got a couple of singles today. Very late timeout call. Vogt asked for it, and he got it. Pitcher hates that.
Well, and again, I believe strongly that when you're in a stretch, you should have as much time. I mean, you can hold guys, and you know, hitters, and they know. And so maybe that was a ploy by Stephen Vogt to get him out of his rhythm a little bit. But out of the stretch, a guy comes set with the ball in his hand. He could throw anytime. In the case of Cueto, guys like that, quick pitch. So it's really tough to grant timeout to a hitter. That time he quick pitch.
Yep. So 1-1 the count to Vogt. Valencia to follow.
And it's just a simple matter of a pitcher changing his pattern, his rhythm, especially with a runner on base. Not that Lowry is going to attempt to steal. Pitcher just trying to keep him a little close.
So Lowry, the runner at first. Vogt shoots one foul into the seats down the left field line.
Stephen Vogt waits as he did in his first 2 at-bats. Now Castellanos, third baseman, I thought he's going to go and talk to the pitcher, but he decided he's going to go into right field.
Well, he's got to go past the mound, sort of.
But here's a case with the left side open now, with just the shortstop there. Stephen Vogt has gone up the middle and the left field. And if he continues to do what he said, let the ball come to him, it should be perfect for him to go that direction again.
1-2 pitch, here it is. He shoots it that way. Out at second, and the turn, and Cabrera to get his foot on the bag. He did. So Stephen Vogt was trying to go that way, and he ends up hitting into a double play for the first time this year. How about that? And he and Cabrera got tangled up just a little bit at first base.
Well, one guy on the left side, and that's the ground ball. I mean, anywhere other than right to Iglesias. That's got to be a base hit, maybe first and third instead. Stephen Vogt, a good idea, trying to go that direction, but turns it into a double play. Cabrera, great footwork. Neither foot was on the bag, caught the ball, and then put his left foot down. And that's why a near collision.
So second double play turned in this series by the Tigers. Checking on Stephen Vogt, make sure he's okay as Valencia steps in.
Well, there's the foot on the bag, but Stephen Vogt stepped on his foot, and then maybe even beyond that.
It's a couple of all-stars right there.
That's right.
Change up for a strike.
Steve Vogt's probably saying, "Walt, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, Walt.
Leave me alone. I'm not coming out of the game, so don't even bother talking to me." I don't know. He calls him Steve.
And Walt's such a nice guy. You just say, Walt, I'm okay. The great Walt Horn, assistant athletic trainer. True gentleman. Valencia has singled and hit a fly ball to center field. And now he's sitting on a 3-1 count. Pelfrey with 1 walk and 3 strikeouts so far.
He gets a double play after the only walk. I think that man up with a runner on base, and Chris Davis, who always makes every at bat exciting with the possibilities.
And there's a line drive and a base hit to left field. So you get a hitter's count and a 3-1 fastball, and Valencia did what you're supposed to do.
Well, Chris Davis, a hanging slider, and it was crushed to left center for a 3-run home run.
Number 2.
Chris Davis with 14 long ones. Like that.
So most home runs in May in Oakland history. McGuire, Canseco, and Davis.
And Reddick and McGuire and Canseco on there a couple of times, but a lot of home runs between those two guys.
First pitch to Davis. Drives one towards center. Maben coming in, playing extremely deep, and he's not going to get it. Valencia will go to third, and the A's have a 2-out rally. Man, he's playing deep, isn't he, right?
Yes, he is.
Wow.
And in that case right there, with his speed, and typically if somebody plays deep, they're having a tough time going back on the ball. But you know, Chris Davis, while he gets a base hit, but if you could find Maben out in your screen, oh, there he is, and he went to his left and then came in. If he'd come straight in, he might have had a chance to catch the ball. But taking a couple of steps to his left, Valencia paused and then took off, realizing that he was playing on the warning track.
That youngster's psyched. He likes what he's seeing. A little 2-out rally. And a meeting at the mound. Shot clock is down to 1. It's 0. Let's get my Warriors basketball comment in there.
Well, Yonder Alonso's only home run has been a 3-run walk-off against the Astros and Pat Neshek. And it was crushed. And double barrel action for the Tigers. But Alonso with the outfield playing deep again. Right now just take a 2-out hit just to get the A's on the board.
Pelfrey, long look. First pitch to Alonso is a strike. Fly ball to center. Ground out to third for Alonso. Be a good time for Alonso's first hit in this series. He's 0 for 7. The Rangers are leading The Pirates 6-2 in the 9th inning. That's the rubber game of that interleague series. Rangers a half game behind the Mariners in the AL West.
Pelfrey a long look at Chris Davis at first, thinking he might be running.
Ground ball, Kinsler missed it, and the A's are going to get a run.
Wow. The always sure-handed Ian Kinsler, a routine ground ball to his right, and he just missed it. Just missed it, and fortunately kicked far enough away that he could not get Chris Davis at second. Hit his right foot right there, and then just kept rolling. And as routine as ground ball, he came up slightly. The ball stayed under, kicked off his right foot, far enough away, and what a break for the A's. They'll take it, anything.
So third error on the year for Kinsler. It's a costly one. No RBI for Alonso, but a run for the A's, 2-1. Simeon fouls it straight back. So a walk, double play, single error. The pitch count, which is sitting on 89 with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Simeon a strikeout, and he tried to bunt for a hit, was retired. Pelfrey trying to get in on Simeon, and it's working.
Well, he tried to get the ball in on Valencia and missed. And well, Marcus Simeon, how many times in this series have we seen him release the top hand with a swing inside, almost an uncomfortable type swing?
It almost looks like he does that when the ball runs in on him a little bit.
And it's been pretty consistent in this series. He said hitters sometimes have to cheat and look for a pitch in there to get him out of your kitchen, get him back out on the outside part of the plate.
Oh, 2 pitch, and he went in there again. Simeon takes it 1-2. Pelfrey had that stretch where he retired 7 in a row, starting in the 3rd through the 5th. But a high stress inning here in the 6th. Now 2-2.
But if there's ever a time for a runner at second base to tip location, this would be it. Because 4 consecutive pitches inside from the right-hander, and all 4 have been fastballs. Chris Davis at second. I say that because there's some runners who will look at the catcher and watch him move. Inside again.
And did that hit him? It did not, but the runners will move up. The tying and go-ahead runs are in scoring position.
A's would not be opposed to get 3 unearned runs in this inning. They got 1 right now, looking for 2 more. Fastball runs in quickly, and almost, I don't see how Simeon got out of the way of it. Regardless, there's going to be runners at second and third. It was a wild pitch. McCann couldn't reach it. Off his glove.
So now 3-2 to Simeon.
On that again, Kai.
And it floated out over the plate on a high fastball. So the count remains 3-2.
He's trying to make the error by that man hurt even more.
And the fastball is a bit high. Good at bat by Simeon, and the bases are loaded for Coghlan.
Well, and Brad Ausmus coming out, and This has got to be a tough walk for him. He's going to lefty, and knowing that could be back in the dugout, but he's going to make a pitching change, and Mike Pelfrey is going to go to the dugout, depending on the left-hander, to get Chris Coghlan.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
First home run of his 2016 season. Matt Boyd had retired 5 consecutive batters, but Billy Butler unloaded on a 1-1 fastball inside. A big smile from Country Breakfast as he rounded third. But just as important, the A's 5-run 6th inning, he had a big 2-out hit to right field. But that was against the right-hander, this against the lefty. Billy got him in Detroit with a pinch hit double. Faced him also on Friday night, not as successful. And right now, all these runs unearned, Mike Pelfrey, of course, he knows that their runs are his, regardless of whether they're earned or not. Justin Wilson trying to get Billy Butler out, and Butler trying to keep the inning going.
First pitch to Butler, in for a strike. So 5 2/3 for Pelfrey. A couple of walks, 3 strikeouts. So he pitched well. He's going to kind of sweat this one out with his bullpen. Butler, shallow center. Maven coming in. Maven still coming. He dives. He can't get it. 1 run scores. 2 runs score, and the A's take the lead. Again, playing extremely deep in center field, and he couldn't get it.
And all it takes, if you play deep, to break back with a big swing by Billy Butler, which he had one, and then to try to charge in. And Billy Butler just hit it soft enough, but Maven playing deep, came in after hesitating, and then trying to make a diving catch, couldn't get it. And with 2 outs, everybody's running. That's a hopeless feeling, not able to get to a ball that you know you should have caught. Justin Wilson thought he should have gotten it. Pelfrey is in the dugout as a pitcher of record, but Billy Butler, a big 2-out pinch hit, 2-run base hit, unearned. They don't care, they'll take it.
So here's Burns, 1st and 3rd. I think where that ball was hit, it has to be caught.
Hey, I agree 100%.
I mean,
I agree.
We're glad it wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Tigers have to be. That ball's got to be caught because he froze.
Yeah.
And he was playing deep.
And you know, if you play shallow and you freeze, that's one thing. With the speed, you can catch up. But if you're playing deep and you freeze on a ball to center field,
yeah, it's the double whammy.
Yeah,
right?
the power hitter. Yeah, you're done. And now he's playing really still deep, but attempted And remember, he lost the ball in the sun yesterday, and with the sun today, he may have a tough time picking the ball up. But if that's the case, Justin Wilson thought he had the third out. But he's still looking up in the sun. Maben is. So Billy Butler coming through a 2-run single yesterday, and also his home run and the big 2-run pinch hit today.
Smolinski is your pinch runner. 1-2 pitch and a swinging strikeout, but the A's do damage and a costly error. That was by Kinsler, and the A's get 3 runs in the inning, so they now lead 3-2. T-Mobile. Let's check out what's going on in the AL West. It's a final. The Rangers beat the Pirates 6-2, so Rangers take 2 out of 3 from a pretty good Pirates team. Bottom of the 7th in Anaheim, the Astros leading the Angels 4-3. In the top of the 7th in Seattle, the Minnesota Twins are going for the 3-game sweep of the Mariners, and the Twins lead 5-2. That's your AL West rundown. A busy day all around Major League Baseball.
Yeah, the Rangers have to be ecstatic that Yu Darvish came back last night.
Pitched well, right?
7 strikeouts. Yeah. So Rich Hill, the first pitcher from the A standpoint, what, about 83 games to pitch into the 8th inning, trying to get through the 7th. His pitch count in the last 2 innings has been spectacular, as it allowing him now to pitch into the 7th inning.
Maben with a big swing fouls it back. 1-1 the count. That's Ryan Dole. He's ready. Jake Smolinski is now the new right fielder for the Athletics. Curve for a strike. Maben has a single and a line out to short. Another breaking ball misses. McCann to follow, and then Iglesias, the bottom 3 in the Tigers lineup. Pitch, just got a piece of that curveball. .93 pitches for Hill. .112 is the most he has thrown in a start. That one not close. Sailed on him.
Well, the second 3-2 count today. That 3-1 on Victor Martinez threw him a fastball. JD Martinez got a couple of curveballs on 3-2. Oh, what is the matter?
All the ball.
Wow. That crossed the whole plate. Look at this, is going to start and cross all the way, and he called it where he caught the ball instead of where it crossed the plate.
Now batting.
That's
34.
Stephen Vogt again. He's probably had more of a conversation with the home plate umpire today than he has with anybody.
And it's costly because it's a leadoff walk here in the top of the 7th. We'll bring up James McCann. Valencia steps in on the grass. First pitch to McCann is outside. McCann had that RBI hit in the 2nd inning. And then he struck out in the 4th. One of 8 strikeouts for Rich Hill. Maben has very good speed. Got 4 steals this year in 6 attempts. Good lead, dancing around a little bit. McCann past Dave Clark, foul.
Speaking of dancing.
Yeah, fit nicely.
Although Clark's okay because there's a runner just at first, not at second. He gets back to the coaching box with a runner at first.
And Valencia now with 1-1, steps back a little bit, not a lot, still about even with the bag. That one's called a strike. 1-2. Dahl is about ready. The Tigers bullpen is quiet, so Wilson probably stay out there, the left-hander. McCann loops one foul up over top of the Tigers dugout. Tigers fan makes the play. Gianoso, who's on the DL for the Tigers right now. Not an active player. That's a nice play, though. Big fella.
Great play. And say, what are you doing on the DL? Just keep my left arm in shape.
You know what? That's exactly right. Yeah. Keep your baseball reflexes in good shape. What? What's his buddy? Yeah. Show my guns a little bit. Yeah.
Well, let's see, an 87. What's 87 in the football? What, a lineman?
Oh, yeah. I love it. Poor girl. Look at her shirt. It said, I married into this. Oh, what a great shirt. I married into this. Although it is a Detroit Lions shirt, but this Gianoso guy, he's doing good.
That's why she said I married into all of this. Must have been his brother that was showing his guns.
Oh yeah. Slide up those sleeves a little bit.
Well, just take a look at Michael Zagaris. Sun's out.
Yeah, they're out today. Just waiting for a celebration. Swing and a miss. Hill gets strikeout number 9.
Well, McCann got a curveball in his first at bat. Had to be feeling pretty good about himself to drive in a 2-out run. And then got a fastball. What am I going to get this time? How about another curveball?
Now batting.
Swung over it.
Jose Iglesias.
A strikeout on a curveball.
They got 9 down. So here's Iglesias. That went inside. So Rich Hill now pitch count at 102. Infield playing straight up, looking for a ground ball. There's the breakdown. Ball strikes. 2-to-1 ratio for a total of 103. Maben not going. The ball's rolled foul. Maben has a big lead, and I think that's probably what has Hill most interested, is the fact that he's out there quite a ways.
Rich Hill is going to get some attention by Bob Melvin. He kind of flexed his leg a little bit as he followed through, and that's causing Bob Melvin to come out quickly.
Let's see.
Was it his front leg straightened out, maybe a little bit too much and caught? See if it's his right leg that he flexes a little bit.
So there's some serious negotiating going on right now, and then Joe West is involved. So Dahl is coming in.
Yeah, it's a left leg. Yeah, it's
so a left leg, obviously. So 6 1/3, and Rich Hill will lead. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. And we'll certainly keep our fingers crossed as Rich Hill leads. 3-2 A's lead here in the top of the 7th. Out and a runner on here in the 7th inning. Dahl will step in to face Iglesias with a 1-2 count, and the ball's popped up right side. Lowry grabs it, and that's the 2nd out. So Dahl throws one pitch to Iglesias. He's retired.
And Ryan Dahl comes to the game. We hope Rich Hill is okay. He did want to stay in the game. 3 walks, 9 strikeouts, and walking a strikeout in this inning, and something happened. And he's not going upstairs to get the intention. So Ryan Dahl, who told Scott Emerson when Amos said you're up, and he said I'm ready, and he came. He threw first pitch to Iglesias and popped him up, jammed him with a good fastball. So really exact opposite of Rich Hill. Rich Hill, big sweeping breaking ball, curveball, and fastball. Dahl, hard slider, hard fastball.
Kinsler goes after the first pitch, pops a foul back. How about that?
That's great.
And he's got one inherited runner as he comes into this game. He pitched on Friday night, 1 inning, 16 pitches.
Bob Melvin has liked Ryan Dahl from day one because of those numbers that you just saw, and he'd like to see it go up, be 20 for 20. Maben, a right-hander, maybe a little bit easier to pick up the move.
Kinsler missed that one, 0-2.
And it took a lot off the slider, and he's throwing a changeup and not so much the right-hander, just fastball, slider, sinker, slider. And a four seam that he'll run inside.
And he got him with another breaking ball. So what a job by Ryan Dahl. Comes in, gets the final 2 outs here in the 7th inning. So the A's leading this one 3-2 as we have reached the 7th inning here at the Coliseum. And on this Memorial Day weekend, USAA honors our fallen soldiers. We'll look forward to that. And here at the Coliseum today, the A's hanging on to a 3-2 lead. They got 3 unearned runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, and that's the difference in the game. Wilson stays out there. He'll face the top of the A's order. First pitch to Coco Crisp is skied left side of the diamond. Iglesias fighting that sun. It's going to be Castellanos who ends up making the play. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, this was yesterday, a fly ball. Smolinski ends up on third base, and he couldn't find it. It's to his right. Smolinski, because he was running hard, ended up at third. And today, with a ball hit by Butler, slight hesitation by Maben, had been trying to make a diving catch, came up short. And Billy Butler with a 2-out, 2-run single, all 3 runs to Pelfrey's line, all 3 unearned, but the A's will take the 3-2 lead.
So you think defense isn't important?
Oh, it's huge.
And the Maben, you know, we're not trying to be hard on Cameron Maben, but the point is in the box score, it's not an error. It's a base hit for Billy Butler,
right,
which is good.
Right.
But it's a ball that should have been caught. And right now, it is the difference in the game.
Well, a triple for Smolinski yesterday, and again a credit to Smolinski for running on a ball that could have been just a routine fly ball, but it's a sun. A lot of tough sun. I'll see it. Day games are just. And there's another one tomorrow on Memorial Day and Wednesday in the series finale against the Twins. I remember when the Twins would come in after playing in the Metrodome, all their home games, they would have a tough time here outdoors.
Madsen getting loose.
And you know who's coming up in the 8th inning.
There's a strike to Lowry. The big fellas.
That's right.
So 3-1 to Lowry, who has struck out, hit a fly ball to right, and he has walked. One delivery, here it is, and it's a fastball running in, and Lowry swings through it. Astros and the Angels are now tied 5-5 in the 8th inning. Twins leading Seattle 5-2 in the 7th. Lowry reaches for that one, pokes it foul. The Rangers beat the Pirates 6-2 was the final there. Perez over Liriano. Prince Fielder with a home run. Mitch Moreland with a home run. Two guys who are not having very good seasons, but maybe they're starting to head in the right direction. They each homered today, so the Rangers are now 29-21 with their win. Swing and a miss. Lowry strikes out, so Wilson comes back after being 3-0 in the count to Lowry.
Now they just rear back with a little extra fastball. He's one of the, actually he is the hardest throwing reliever for the Tigers. And you can add it up a little bit extra on the fastball.
So with 2 outs, Vogt steps in. Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 5-3 in 11 innings. That was quite a series up in Toronto. Bautista and Encarnacion homered in a losing effort. Talked a lot about the Jackie Bradley hitting streak, which ended at 29. Xander Bogaerts has a 22-game hitting streak for the Red Sox. So they overlapped for a while. A big division win on the road.
Had to be a little tough for Clint Hurdle, the manager of the Pirates, to go into familiar grounds where he was the hitting coach for the for the Rangers, and of course a long time ago, American League Rookie of the Year with the Royals, Clint Hurdle, but now with the Pirates as their manager, and Jeff Bannister, his bench coach, who is managing the Rangers.
If you haven't had enough baseball and you want to watch greatness, Clayton Kershaw is pitching tonight on a nationally televised game. Seen his numbers this year?
Pretty good.
It's unbelievable.
I think he'll opt out after his time.
I mean, he's one of the all-time greats, and he's just in the middle of his career. Vogt hits one high in the air toward the left field corner, Upton into the corner, and it'll drop a foul. Kershaw is 7-1 with a 1.48 ERA, which is terrific, right? How about this, Ray? He's pitched 79 innings this year, 95 strikeouts, and 5 walks.
That's unbelievable.
He's going to go down as one of the all-time greats when he's done.
And you know, in watching some of the highlights when he's not pitching, he's up on the top rail cheering, just having a great time with his teammates. And I mean, he's not just sitting back for 4 days waiting to pitch again. He is cheering everybody on.
Yeah, everybody raves about him. Great teammate, great guy. Man, that's unbelievable. 95 strikeouts and 5 walks.
Didn't he sign that huge contract? But he said, no, I don't want all those years. You know, just give me fewer years, because, you know, instead of taking a guaranteed whatever he wanted. But just sounds like he is one of those special, not only special players, but a special person.
Yeah, and that's good for the game when one of your best is as classy as he is. Vogt putting a good battle here on the lefty Justin Wilson.
Well, the celebration of the '86 Mets has not been a big celebration with all the things that are going on between the Mets and the Dodgers.
And weird.
Woof. Dudley, what, a grand slam last night after pitcher was ejected, thrown behind him. And
yeah, so actually could be pretty fun to watch. 2-2 now.
And I'm sorry, Red Sox fans, I didn't mean to bring that up, but 86 is not a memorable year for the Red Sox. Clemens striking out 20, yes, but that would be the extent of it.
That's kind of a full weekend celebration, right, in New York for that Mets team that won it all. High fastball, and Vogt missed it. So a couple of strikeouts for Justin Wilson, and he has a 3-up, 3-down inning. 8th inning coming up. It is the heart of the Tigers lineup coming up.
A's at mealtime tomorrow. Tomorrow's Memorial Day. 15,000 fans will receive an A's player pet bowl featuring Stella Doolittle alongside Baxter and Murray Reddick. They're looking forward to this. This metal pet bowl will have the rest of your neighborhood packed howling with envy. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 877-493-BALL. Can't wait to see Baxter and Murray Reddick along with Doolittle's. I mean, that should be a fun day.
This is going to be a fun inning.
That's right.
With Ryan Madson facing the big boys. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. So we say fun. How about fun to watch?
Yeah.
Madson is going to face J.D. Martinez, Miguel Cabrera, and Victor Martinez. 1-0 the count to J.D. Martinez, who has struck out, walked, and struck out. Martinez is 1 for 10 in the series. Taps this one foul. So the A's with 3 unearned runs. It was in the bottom of the 6th inning. A very costly error by Ian Kinsler that would have been the 3rd out. But a run scored on the air. It extended the inning. And then Butler with the pinch hit 2-run single. Right field. Down the line, Smolinski over, and he won't get it. Kinsler, one of the better defensive second basemen around, he just missed it.
And then Dull struck him out on 3 pitches. That probably was the biggest at bat for Ryan Dull to get him on back-to-back sliders.
2-2 pitch. Looped foul.
Just a couple of steps to the right of Kinsler. He went down to field it. He came up. The ball stayed down, hit off the edge of his glove, off his right foot. kicked far enough away, no chance to get Chris Davis at second, and a run scored. And Pelfrey left after walking Simeon, which was a great at bat.
2-2 pitch is again driven foul down the right field line.
JD Martinez swinging in this at bat, especially those last two, like he's looking to change it.
So you're saying he's waiting a little longer and he's getting a fastball, so he's late.
And he's fouled him. When you see a hitter hit the ball to right field, although he does hit them right field, but it's as if he knows Benson has a good changeup, not afraid to throw it. A fastball in.
And that is right there on the inside corner. He stayed with the fastball. And for the third time, Martinez strikes out. 11 strikeouts for A's pitchers today.
Stephen Vogt moved in. That's indicated right there. Here comes the heater. And the key for a catcher, if you're going to do that, you move late. So nobody can tell the hitter what's going to happen, because most right-handed pitchers to right-handed batter, unless you're someone like Mariano Rivera, will not throw a front door cut fastball or slider. It's going to be a fastball, and another tough hitter.
And it's a touch low. So Cabrera is 0 for 3. He has been quiet in this series. Swing and a miss. Chased it. Fastball that was down around the shoe tops.
And look at the movement on this fastball also. Not only the fastball, but a two-seamer that went straight down about 94 miles per hour. A difference there. That's a two-seamer. The four-seamer that Martinez struck out on.
A little flare. Lowry hustling out, and Lowry makes the backhanded catch. 2 outs. Now Cabrera now 0 for 9 in the series.
Look out, Angels.
Yep, that's a good call.
Because you don't keep the big man down long. The A's have been fortunate in this series, and they hope that that is his last at bat in this series and this season against the A's, at least regular season, because A's have a 1-run lead. Great play by Lowry. Good range going to the outfield on a ball that got it on the hands of the big man. And right now, Victor Martinez. Remember the home run yesterday, Kite? You don't want to take a chance inside. See if they stay away from him.
He's 3 for 3 today. 3 singles and an RBI. 6 for 10 in the series.
Well, this is a fastball that got inside to Victor Martinez, and this would be a 2-run shot that would have been overthrown by Jesse Hahn and into the wheelhouse of Victor. That would tie the game at 3, but of course the A's would score 9 in the next 2 innings. But Victor has one thing in his mind right now, and that's to hit a home run to tie the game.
Toward right. Smolinski's there, and Matson has a 3-up, 3-down inning. So nicely done. And we're going to the bottom of the 8th. It's 3-2, the A's lead. summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 2-5-1 for the Tigers, 3-7-0 for the Athletics. They got their 3 in the 6th inning. Pelfrey deserved better. Right now he's sitting on a loss. Rich Hill was good again, although they're a little concerned. He left flexing his leg a little bit. That was in the 7th inning. We have not heard a report on Rich Hill, and if we do, we will immediately pass it on to you. But here in the bottom of the 8th, it's a new pitcher for the Tigers. It's Mark Lowe, facing Valencia, Davis, and Alonso. First pitch is a strike. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. So Lowe, free agent signing in the offseason. Tigers expecting him to kind of solidify the bullpen, and he has struggled. You get a 2-year, $11 million deal, and his ERA is over 6. So Doolittle, he's getting ready for the 9th.
And Bob Melvin did something that a lot of managers would not do, and we actually talked about the game in which, was it Boston, when Kimbrel came in or not in the 8th inning. But here is the case of probably the toughest part of the batting order, that he brings his closer in to face those 3 in the 8th inning. And of course he has another closer, 2 more, actually, an expert in Doolittle. Looks like Sean will get a chance to close it out the 9th.
2 now to Valencia. Valencia, a couple of hits. He's 2 for 3. He had a good series. He's 5 for 11. Up the middle, make it 6 for 12. So a 6-hit series for Danny Valencia.
Oh, great job by Ryan Madson. Now the A's trying to add a little insurance in the 8th inning. As Valencia with a leg kick, the weight shift back and then forward and back up the middle, even on a 2-strike pitch.
So hit number 8 for the Athletics. And here's Chris Davis. Davis takes a first pitch strike. It's a good weekend for the Kansas City Royals. They won again today over the White Sox, 5-4. In fact, they swept the White Sox, and they came from behind in all 3 games. Today, they scored 3 in the bottom of the 8th to turn a 4-2 deficit into a 5-4 lead, and they won. Chris Sale got a no decision for the White Sox.
And the Royals think it's an especially good weekend because Salvador Perez, 7 to 10 days with got kneed in the quad, and it could have been more serious with a knee injury. Remember, he tore his knee up when he just signed that big contract. When his cleats caught as he went to block a ball, tore his knee up, missed a lot of the season, if not all. Came back, of course, the MVP in the World Series last year, but to get a knee into the quad versus messing the knee up is a lot longer. So they're happy that it's only going to be 7 to 10.
So Moustakas is out for the year. Alex Gordon's on the disabled list, and Salvador Perez out for 7 to 10 days. So they're playing short, but didn't seem to matter. That's a big series for them because they win, and the Indians lost today 6-4 to the Orioles. And that puts the Kansas City Royals in first place.
Isn't that amazing?
Line shot. That's going to get down. It's going to go to the wall. Valencia will stop at third. And Chris Davis has a double, and the A's are in business here in the bottom of the 8th, looking for some insurance.
And again, a pitch in the eyes of Chris Davis. I mean, it's amazing the strength of this man, that he can get on top of a pitch that's high. And Lowe with a good fastball, really led her high that a lot of hitters cannot catch up to. But Chris Davis, the exception to the rule, because he crushed it.
Yonder Alonso.
Strong man.
So now the Tigers infield will come in. as Yonder Alonso hits for the 4th time. He hit that ground ball that Kinsler missed.
Biggest hit of the day. Make contact, good things can happen, and it did.
Check swing, and he went around, says Andy Fletcher.
Well, the breaking ball down and in. Alonso, just the head of the bat. And that's what the umpires look at, I've been told. Is that if you kind of take it through inside out, the head doesn't go through, but the top head of the bat kind of loops a little bit, and that's usually when they call it.
Fastball away from Lowe. Semien to follow. After Semien, it would be that guy, Smolinski. Good pitch. Call the ball. So Lowe, I think Lowe probably threw it right where he wanted to. Off the end of the bat, looped foul past the 8th dugout. Outfield is shifted toward left center a little bit, maybe in that direction.
Sounded like a broken bat. Did. And Austin and Christian, the bat boys, always have one ready to go. I think that was Austin. And good crew. They learned a lot from Cliffy and Matt, you know. Those old-time bat boys got some big shoes to fill. It's a great opportunity for a hitter with the infield in just to make contact, and hopefully something good happens.
Valencia at 3rd, Davis at 2nd. So McCann going through a whole series of signs. Now he's ready. And the count is now full at 3-2.
And I don't think Lowe is thinking anything about first base being open with the right-hander up next. He's just trying to throw quality strikes. And Marcus Semien, a great at bat in the 6th inning. Started 0-2, worked it to 3-2, and walked him.
Good swing there by Alonso. He was ready on 3-2, and he got an off-speed pitch.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point to be ready.
So you spoil the off-speed pitch,
yeah,
and
exactly.
maybe get ready for another fastball. Hit hard. Cabrera has it on the short hop, and he'll step on the bag. So a nice play by Cabrera on a very hard hit ball by Alonso. Nothing you can do.
Yeah.
It was a good at bat. Hit it hard.
Well, that's a very good play by Cabrera, considering he's even with the bag. Now Osmus going out to visit with his pitcher, but an excellent play by the great first baseman Miguel Cabrera.
So Semien is the hitter. And little strategy session here. Again, after Semien, it's Smolinski.
Yeah. And this is probably the discussion. You're going to pitch to Semien. You want to walk him. You want to set up a double play. And of course, the first out with 2nd and 3rd and nobody out is a huge out, because then you can make up your mind what you want to do. And we will find out.
Semien today is 0 for 2 with a walk. He's got a strikeout and a ground out.
And they're going to walk him. You can tell by the shortstop being at second base. So that was a discussion, and Sometimes a manager will say to the pitcher, what do you want to do? Who would you rather face? And whether or not it was up to Mark Lowe or up to Osmus, but they decided they're going to walk.
Well, let's decide if Mark Lowe is good at this intentional walk pitches.
Yeah,
let's just see.
Good idea.
It's the guys who throw it soft. That's the guys that are.
Yeah, yeah. But at least he has this follow through. And
that's true.
He doesn't throw darts. But in reality, to load the bases, you have a force. The infield can play for 2. That's really a kind of a logical move.
Buck Farmer up, big right-hander.
So now Simeon, at one time, Simeon as a base runner is important because you could avoid a double play, maybe going in hard at second. You can't do it anymore. So that changes everything. Smolinski has good speed, so if he hits the ball on the ground, there's a chance he could beat it out. Even better, get a base hit, don't have to worry about it.
So first at bat for Smolinski. Lowe's pitch is hit high in the air, left center field. Valencia's tagging. Maben has it. Maben's going to just flip it into Cabrera, and that's a big insurance run. So nice job by Smolinski as he goes after the first pitch, picks up a sacrifice fly, and it's 4-2.
It was a good pitch to do exactly what he did. It was up a little bit. He was able to get under it, drive the ball deep enough to center field. And if Maben called off Upton, as he said, I have a better arm than you, let me throw it, and didn't make it the pitcher's mound. So a good chance and a great job by Smolinski to get the insurance run in.
So now Burns will hit with Davis at second, Simeon at first. Fastball is away to Billy Burns. Looking for his first hit. A couple of groundouts and a strikeout. Doolittle's ready. He will face Castellanos, Upton, and Maben. And after Maben, it's the catcher spot, McCann.
Well, the extra run in this inning is huge for anybody, and for a pitcher to come in and try to get the final 3 outs takes away from that possible one swing of the bat to tie it.
Burns misses the off-speed pitch, 83 miles an hour from Lowe. An insurance run in for the A's. Chopped slowly. Iglesias has it. He's going to go to second. Side retired. A run for the A's on 2 hits. Smolinski with the sac fly. 9th inning coming up. It's a 4-2 A's lead.
CSN California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
Well, you know what that means? That means Doolittle's into the game. And he's looking for his third save. And he's trying to save it for Rich Hill. First pitch swinging is hit in the air. And that's out number one. The lovely sight of one pitch, one out in the ninth inning.
Absolutely. When you need base runners, and Sean Doolittle said, thank you, one pitch, one out. He's only 2 for 3 in save opportunities, but for Sean Doolittle, he is basically set up. He knows it. Matson was given the closer's job, but this is a case where Matson, the closer, faces the hitters in the 8th, but the A's actually have 3 closers, and Doolittle, Axford, and of course Matson.
So here's Upton. Upton is 0 for 3, a strikeout, a fly ball to center, and a ground out to short. A little bit high with a fastball again, 2-0. Maben to follow. If either of these two guys were to get on, James McCann would hit. So all right-handed hitters. Upton, big swing and a miss.
Early for Sean Doolittle, he's got his fastball back, and Upton did not swing at the first 2 that were elevated a little bit, but threw a fastball towards the middle and down a little bit more. Upton couldn't catch up to the 94 heater.
Couldn't catch up with that one either, just a touch late. 95 miles an hour. He's bullpen in this series, 8 innings, just 1 earned run.
Tigers 3 for 27. Wow.
Pitch swing and a miss. No chance that time, and 2 outs here in the 9th inning.
Here's today's Honda Player of the Game, Rich Hill, looking for a win again, and great curveball again. 6 innings and a third. He left. Ryan Dell came in and finished it off, but Rich Hill was outstanding once again today. 9 strikeouts. I think he wanted to stay in the 7th inning to try to get strikeout number 10, which would have been his 3rd of this season. But you get Miguel Cabrera 3 times, and Matson got him the 4th. And now Sean Doolittle trying to save it for Rich Hill.
First pitch to Maben, fastball low. Maben is singled, lined out, and walked. Billy Butler with a big hit today. It's 2 days in a row. Oh, it's huge. That's good to see for Butler. This could do it. Lowry waits, ball game. A's win the series. The bullpen helps out as Doolittle gets his 3rd save, and Rich Hill gets his 8th win of the year. And a series win for the Athletics on a beautiful Sunday afternoon at the Coliseum. So 4-2 is your final. 2 hours and 47 minutes in front of 20,522. And the final score, the Oakland A's 4 and the Detroit Tigers 2. You've been watching A's Baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Mindy Bach and Bip Roberts starts right now.